So in March, the Liberals will pick their new party leader, and for the first time in a leadership race, the Security and Intelligence Threats to Elections Task Force will be watching out for any foreign meddling. The big question now is, how effective will that be? Joining me with more is Christian Leuprecht with the Royal Military College of Canada. He's in Kingston this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So what does this very long name task force do?
So it's essentially a fusion cell. So everybody in Canada knows where to report within the government infrastructure, the security intelligence infrastructure, where to report their intelligence. It does sort of an integrated assessment of the threat capacity, but it is also is mandated with, on the one hand, sharing that with certainly within government, possibly with the right authorizations with relevant stakeholders, possibly including the party or party leader. And it also has the authorization to authorize certain efforts to mitigate that threat if that is appropriate and the appropriate authorities and authorizations are in place from the government to do so.
So, Christian, this is really interesting because unlike an election, a leadership race, it's a private event. There's also little regulation around how the election or the leadership race is conducted. How well equipped is this task force to do the job despite some challenges?
Look, that's a great observation because while elections, of course, are public events, political parties are effectively private entities. And they've long resisted government regulating what they do or how they do it. And so essentially, the parties are subject to the Canada Elections Act, and that provides certain constraints in terms of who can run and in terms of the financial dealings and the like. So it'll be interesting to see the interactions between the site task force as well as party officials, party leaders, and the authorizations in place to share, because of course whatever authorizations are in place for this leadership race would then provide the precedent for the next leadership race. And we know that we've had concerns about foreign interference and malign influence in leadership contests going back to at least the selection of Brian Mulroney as leader of the Conservative Party. So this is a long-standing concern.
Before this leadership race, the Liberal Party allowed anyone who, they say, quote, ordinarily resides in Canada to be a party member and vote. That changed. How come?
Yeah, so look, I think one of the puzzling things here still is, so we've limited it to citizens and permanent residents, which is the framework that is provided by the Canada Elections Act. But it is puzzling that you would continue to let permanent residents vote, for instance, in a leadership contest, because, of course, they can't vote in Canadian elections. And the two largest groups of permanent residents in this country are from India and from China, two countries that this very government has called out for foreign interference and malign influence. And so inherently, that opens up considerable vulnerabilities. And we know that there's been reporting that those vulnerabilities have been exploited in the past, for instance, by the United Front Work Department from China, funneling money to people who are permanent residents and citizens that then gets funneled, for instance, to the party or to party candidates. So certainly that remit of permanent residents continues to provide a vulnerability that the party could have closed. There were nothing prohibited from doing so, but that the party chose not to.
Why this race? And here's why I'm asking that. We know that the Conservatives are well ahead in the polls. And if that proves to be the case, I mean, why would foreign entities bother with this leadership race? I mean, what's in it for them?
So inherently, you want to either influence a candidate that might be sympathetic to you. It might be a candidate who's not sympathetic to you, who you would undermine. You want to try to prioritize perhaps certain public policy issues. So that is one track. But the other is that hostile actors are also simply trying to sow chaos. That is to say, they're trying to undermine our democratic processes, our institutions, and to simply show that democracy doesn't work. And so if they can sow doubt in terms of the integrity of a leadership process, that inherently then sows doubt in terms of the integrity of the upcoming election. If you have a leader whose legitimacy in the contest is ultimately broadly sort of contested. And so we underestimate also the ability of these foreign actors, the deep pockets they have, the way they already manifest themselves and well integrated in Canada, the very deep financial pockets that they have already been using to influence Canadian politics. And so I think we're still somewhat naive in this country, as well as the posture that we have in terms of ensuring we are robust against attempts by hostile actors from any and all sides to influence the outcomes of what ultimately is a party that has held power in Canada for 2/3 of Canadian history.
Oh, it is fascinating. Christian, in your opinion, I mean, what needs to happen to make sure this vote is secure?
Well, so look, one of the concerns that I have is that the extent to which the efficiency, the effectiveness, the loyalty, and the merit of the federal public service has declined and atrophied under the Trudeau government. And so I have concerns about not the site task force itself to perform, but the ability of the site task force to deliver actionable and relevant intelligence to the right stakeholders, and for those stakeholders then to have the authority from the government in place to be able to share those in a relevant and a timely manner. And so I think, given that we all know that the extent to which security, intelligence, and defense has atrophied under this government, I think there are broad concerns that, yes, we have the site task force in place, but whether the site task force is able to actually take what it is generating in terms of intelligence and is able to deliver that in a timely and actionable manner and will be authorized to do so by the government, that remains to be seen.
Christian Lloyd-Pracht, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
If you liked that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.